A live look at the White House now. The Presidential Debate Commission has pulled the plug on next week's matchup after President Trump decided not to participate in a virtual debate. Meanwhile, President Trump is headed back on the campaign trail, and tomorrow he'll host an event from the White House, the first since his COVID-19 diagnosis last week. For more on that, let's turn to CBS News reporter Debra Alfarone, who joins us live from Washington. Deborah?
Liz, the president will speak from the South Lawn balcony tomorrow to a crowd of people who will be below him. Now, they are required to bring their own masks, and we're hearing that they will go through some type of COVID-19 testing in the morning, as well as going through a questionnaire.
A senior administration official confirms President Trump will hold his first in-person event since his COVID diagnosis at the White House tomorrow. He's expected to give remarks on law and order from the White House balcony. The Trump campaign has also announced the president will return to the campaign stage in Florida on Monday. It's been less than a week since President Trump was discharged from the hospital.
I was in not great shape, and we have a medicine that healed me.
His reckless personal conduct since his diagnosis, the destabilizing effect it's having on our government, is unconscionable.
Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden hit the campaign trail in the battleground state of Nevada with multiple stops in Las Vegas.
Earlier this week, the president said he would hold off on negotiating another COVID stimulus bill until after the election. Now, White House officials say he has approved a revised package offer.
I would like to see a bigger stimulus package, frankly, than either the Democrats or the Republicans are offering.
Friday morning, the House Speaker announced a bill to create a commission on presidential capacity. The panel would be charged with deciding whether a president is fit to perform his or her duties under the 25th Amendment.
This is not about President Trump. He will face the judgment of the voters. But he shows the need for us to create a process for future presidents.
White House officials have called the proposal, quote, absurd, and the bill is not likely to be considered by the Republican-led Senate.
Deborah, what more can you tell us about Monday's rally in Florida?
Well, it's going to be taking place in Sanford, and this is a battleground state. The president is eager to get out there and resume his in-person campaigning. This is going to be outside at an airport hangar, and if we know, really, from looking at past events, I mean, certainly we haven't seen much social distancing. We haven't heard anything about masks being encouraged or required, but this will be the first time that the president will be out there speaking to the people and be doing that since his COVID-19 diagnosis. We're going to have to wait and see exactly how that plays out. But again, this will be outside, and we haven't seen much mask use in the past.
Well, maybe that changes. All right, Deborah, thank you.
More now on the revised stimulus offer approved by the president. The White House is reportedly offering now a $1.8 trillion plan, about $200 billion more than the proposal last week, but still less than the $2.2 trillion Democrats had proposed and the president rejected on Tuesday. The specifics of where the money would go have not yet been released.
We are willing and eager to make a deal, and we're willing to come up on the levels that we're giving in terms of direct payments to the American people, potentially PPP loans, as well as airline aid. We're still looking at, we want to keep that number below $2 trillion, but some progress being made.
Well, investors seem to like the possibility of a new stimulus package. Stocks closing out their biggest weekly gain since July. The Dow up 161 points, NASDAQ up 158, and the S&P up 30.